What's going on, everyone? This is Make Lemonade episode number 10, and today we're talking about think before you speak. What's going on? This is John, your host, and today you're listening to Make Lemonade. And we are on episode 10 talking about think before you speak. And today we have 3 topics that we want to talk to you about and just share with you that will help you think before you speak. And so we want to help you out because I know we all go through this. So first of all, if you're listening, wherever you're listening from, your car, whether it be in your house, whether it be you're in the groceries, whatever it might be that you're doing right now, I just want to give this moment to tell you thank you for stopping by and listening, because we appreciate it so much. We appreciate you listening to us. We appreciate your feedback, and it's an awesome and we're honored just for you to be here today with us. So with no further ado, let's go into think before you speak. So number 1 is, we got 3 points today. We're going to get right into it because this is, stuff that's going to help you out, okay? Number 1 is, don't let your words trap you and you stay stuck doing something you didn't want to do, okay? Don't let your words trap you and then you're stuck doing something you didn't want to do. Now, so many of us can relate to the situation. You know, your friend, your aunt asked you if you could, go out to eat, but you know that when you go out to eat, you're the one that ends up paying. And, this is just a, scenario. Or, you're invited to go somewhere, but you really don't like going there because it's just not your scene place, and you don't want to go. Or, so on and so forth. I can go on with the list here, but I'm pretty sure you get the point of saying yes to something that you are regretting. And it doesn't have to be saying yes to something. It can be, you said something, you said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose 20 pounds by this week. And then you're stuck, and then you're embarrassed because it's impossible to lose 20 pounds in 20 weeks. In a week. So what I'm saying is, think before you speak. And how can we prevent ourselves from saying something that we're trapped, that traps us, and then we're stuck doing something that we never wanted to do in the first place, or we never thought before we said something of the amount of work that it would take, or the amount of, effort or stress, or so on and so forth. This is the one thing that you can do, that you can remind yourself, that will let you think before you speak and not let your words trap you with what you say. And then here it is. Are you ready? Okay, little drum roll. Okay, that's me doing my own sound effects. Okay, here we go. Your word represents who you are. Or better yet, your words represent who you are. That is a very, very powerful statement, in my opinion. Because what you say, like you've heard so many times, your word is your bond, right? But I like to say your words represent who you are. Because the moment that you say yes to something, like I said, for example, you said yes to your aunt, whatever attitude you have, or if you don't even come through with the yes, well, automatically you will be viewed as the person who doesn't show up, or the person who doesn't, do what they say. You're just all talk, or, you're going to be seen as a negative view, and pretty much that's going to become your reputation. So your word is your bond, but I like to put it as your word represents who you are. What you say is as you are sending your word, and you're literally sending who you are. Like if you had a clone, you're sending it to them, so that word is you. That's how strong I believe words are. I believe the words can give you life or death. Okay, you can give somebody a positive or a negative. Your words are very strong and they represent who you are as a person. So always remember, before you set yourself for a trap with what you say, know that what you're saying represents you. Number 2, it's better to be silent and everyone think that you're wise than to speak and everyone know you're a fool. Now, this is a very, explains itself. I could just move to the third topic. But this very, very much, I've seen this over 1,000 times happening over and over and over again. People speaking their minds, people speaking what they're saying and not thinking about what they're saying sounds really foolish. And I know, I'm going to say this and I know a lot of you will agree with me. Some of you won't. But I'm going to explain myself with what I say before you jump on the bandwagon and be like, yeah, because I know most of us will say yeah to what I'm about to say, or yes. And so, the number one person that you can probably think about in this year, in 2018, that needs to think, needs to better yet stay silent than talk, and it's Trump. President Trump. And, most of you can say, yes, I agree with you 100%. I would think that he would be much a wiser president if he would just stay silent than if he would speak. But let me tell you this, okay? And this is where I say I'm going to explain. For one, he's the president, right? So, one, let's show a little respect, right? Because he's the president. Number two is this. Look, for what he has done or has said, one of the things that he's come through is, and of course you can argue this in a big one, but and I'm not all completely for the man, but I do know that he's in leadership position for a reason. But realizing that some of the things that he says, he actually does. And so far, everything that he's been doing, he has come through with it. He said he was going to be president. He could be president. He became president. It did take him, 2 tries, I believe so. But he did it. So my point is, it's not defending him, but in saying, yes, he should control his tongue, because the more he speaks, the more people are noticing he's not that cool or that wise as he was when people would see him on TV, right? So more of his character is being shown, more of who he really is and what he's capable of, and his character is showing. So when you speak before you think, and if you don't know anything about what you're saying, you can sound really, really foolish. So it's better to be silent and everyone think that you're wise than everyone know right off the back that you're foolish in what you're doing and what you're saying, how you're acting. I'm not against, people who are loud and they like to speak and they like to have conversations. That's fine. But most of those people that do that, I wouldn't say 95% of the majority would think that they are people who think so much of themselves, talk too much, or, are foolish. They don't know what they're saying, and so on and so forth. But the point is here is you have to watch yourself before you say something. Because when you say something, the moment that you speak a word, how you say it, the way you say it, will describe automatically your character. And that in itself, people will know you're a caring person, you're a good person, you hate people, you're a bad person. Simple as that. We can put you in so many categories, but really there's only a measure of black and white, good or bad. And, in the moment that you speak what you believe and all this stuff, people already put you in a category without you thinking. So That is number 2. Number 3, it will save you from making the wrong reaction. Now, I myself have experienced this for firsthand. There's been situations in my time where I didn't think before, but the good thing is that I had people who would put sense into me before I completed my action. But if I were to go through with my action, everything would just be destroyed. And I've experienced the moment when I've done something and I didn't have those people to tell me, and I literally ruined it all. So, that in itself is very, very important. That it will save you from making the wrong reaction. There's been times in my life, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this story. I was going to say an example, but this story is 10 times better. The story of a man who was in an airport, and this man buys this nice, fresh, donuts, those donut holes. He buys them because he's waiting, and he sits next to this older man who's across him. And out of a sudden, the old man reaches to a donut bag and starts eating the donut bag. Not the donut bag, but the donut holes. The man, who was the businessman, got so infuriated that he didn't want to say anything, but he kind of was making it obvious that, hey, these are my donut holes. I bought them. I want to eat them. I don't want to share. And, he got so angry that he kind of was turning the bag towards him. And, but the old man actually offered him some donuts if he wanted some donuts, because he kept looking at the donuts and looking at the man like, why are you eating my donuts? And then the old man offered him some, and he was he got angrier because he was thinking that, how dare this man ask me to, if I want donut holes from my own bag. And, they were eating back and forth until the bag was completely, empty. Then the old man looks at the business young man and smiles at him and says thank you and and goes on his way. The young man thinks to himself and say, wow, I cannot believe that this man just, ate my donut holes, without even asking me, and ate the whole bag and just left. Wow. I cannot believe it. His flight had been had called for his flight, and when he reached for his bag, he saw his donut hole bags that were still warm in his bag that he had put in there. And then he realized that those donuts that he was eating, that the old man was offering him, that he thought were his, were actually not his. And he was being the jerk, eating donuts from the old man. So that story in itself tells you that your actions, that your reaction, that when you think first, your reaction can be different versus when you don't think and you react. And the number one thing that can help you from those reactions is the number one thing that I told you. Your words, what you say in your mind and in your mouth, letting it go, describe who you are. And I'm going to go into this with you because this is a little deep, and this is how you can prevent yourself from your reaction. Your thoughts are actually more real than what you say. Now, I know that sounds crazy because your imagination, whatever you think on top, usually it becomes a action when you go through it, right? Like if you react to your actions, your imagination, you're gonna go and act on what you thought. The more you entertain it. So, if you realize that what you think is actually what you believe, then you'll be able to understand, what am I doing in this situation? In this situation, am I doing something that is wrong? Am I analyzing what is in my surrounding? How would this affect not only me, but how would this affect others around me? That right there is key. Because the moment that you think something and you entertain it, you'll act on it. And then it's too late to take it back. So your thoughts are actually more real than what you say. Because it all comes from a place. And if you allow to entertain yourself with that with that thought, that quickly, without even holding it and analyzing it, quickly just let it go like lightning, your action can cause you damage. So again, let's go over the points. Number 1, don't let your words trap you and you're stuck doing something you didn't want to do. How do we prevent that? By knowing that your words represent you. Number 2, it's better to be silent and everyone think you're wise than speak and everyone know you're a fool. And how can you do that? By staying silent. By staying silent is the key. Excuse me. Number 3, it will save you from making the wrong reaction. And how can you do that? How can it save you? Number 1 is this: knowing that what you think in your head is actually more real than what you say. Because the moment that you say it, it's something that becomes. When it's in your head, it's becoming. And when you say it out of your mouth, it has already become. So, knowing those 3 things, now you can go on knowing that you can use one of these 3 points to help you out before you say anything. And it helps you think before you speak. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this has been very helpful and that you're inspired and motivated to be the best version of you. And like always, this is your host, John. Thank you for being here with us today on the Make Lemonade podcast, and we'll talk to you later.